mic check. Raise the volume just a little bit. I think that just does it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, a little bit off there. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, children of all ages. Perfect timing I've got, isn't it? I think we're all set. All right, mic check is complete. Time to start the show. I'm the Old Humble Guy. This is part 4 of our 72-hour live stream. Yesterday we did 3 segments. We did the morning session when we filled bottles and sealed bottles. We did the afternoon session when we filled bottles and sealed bottles. And then we did an open forum in the evening, had some fun. Actually, we talked about a broad range of subjects. It was kind of fun. Seriously podcast, Ike joined me, or Ike from the Seriously podcast joined me. Sunflowers joined me, and even Top Shelf Dustin joined me. So cheers to all the All-Stars that were up late with us last night. I did sleep in a little bit this morning, got a little bit more sleep than I intended to get. Packed up my bedroom here at the distillery, went home, changed. See, I'm wearing a new shirt and everything. Went home, cleaned up, changed. Got some work done this morning that needed to get done. And now we're ready to go back at it. Today we will be labeling the bottles. And I'm using a different label than I've ever used here with these machines. So I'm not 100% sure it's going to work. This may be the classic process of simply taking the labels off the roll by hand and sliding on the bottle if the machine doesn't work. So let's go over to get a word from our sponsor.
Is your bar looking a little ordinary? Is it lacking something awesome? Well, head out to your local liquor store and pick up something extraordinary. Grab a bottle of Old Humble Straight Whiskey or Old Humble Special Reserve. They're clean, smooth, easy drinking whiskeys that taste the way whiskey should taste. From humble beginnings to an extraordinary finish, Old Humble whiskeys are what your bar needs today. Walk tall, be awesome, and drink humble. Old Humble Straight Whiskey and Old Humble Special Reserve. Get yours today.
All right, party's about to get started. Okay, we're going to go over here to camera 2. And I will show you how we load up our labels into the machines. There's camera 2. It looks gorgeous, doesn't it? Right centered right here on our lazy Susan. Poor Susan, she's always getting called lazy. No fault of her own. People are just mean, I guess. All right, so here we got our double oak rye loaded into the machine. We take the panel off the machine. I'm going to turn my studio here so I can see what's happening on the screen, because I can't really see what's going on. All right, and I can also see my audio levels and make sure I'm not overclocking everything. Okay, so first things first, we get the get everything out of here. Got to get my screwdrivers. A screwdriver. Now, what's going to end up happening is we got just enough space, it looks. So I'm going to have to open this thing up. It's raining outside today, by the way. It's been raining since about Well, early this morning. I don't know exactly when it started raining, but it's raining since very early this morning. It's going to be a very tight fit, but I'm sure it'll fit just fine. I'm sure it'll be just fine. Number 2. All right. Wrong one. Again, I'm not sure this is going to work. It's extremely tight fit. But we will see. I may have to be doing it by hand, which is exactly how we started this whole venture anyway, so it would be perfectly appropriate to continue that way with this set of labels. All right. So we come under the bottom. Goodness, I'm tired. I slept late and I'm still tired. How do people do it? All right. Under the bottom. This is going to... All right, we're good. We're good. We're rolling. Over the spacer here. Under the rollers. Then back up over this tension bar, and I need to move these guys out of the way, so I need an Allen wrench. My handy dandy trusty Allen wrench, which should be right here on exactly where I put it. Hot diggity dog. I love it when things are right where you put them. Gives me much joy to find things where they belong. All right, it goes over this. Over that tension bar. Over this tension bar, under this tension bar, then over this bar, then rolls back through, under here. This is where it gets hard. Let's just see if it'll come off. Yeah, it looks like it's going to come off okay. Cool. There we go. Coming up through. All right, now I'll go ahead and put the plate on. I'm going to have to move this spacer off of here. And put it on the other side. So you've got to come off of there, buddy. And you got to go over there. the bottom. But just flip over. So this is how we get things set up to do the runs, or labeling runs rather. And now I'm going to have to calibrate and make sure that this is A square and B squared. Ha, A squared, B squared. Get it? That's an algebra joke. Make sure that it's all squared up and straight. Okay. The last thing is this one. It needs to be flipped over. I'm off camera. Sorry. Who's here? Oh, it's just me. It's fine. It's fine. It really is. Ah! Okay, so the goal is at least 140 bottles today. I don't know how quickly this is going to go. I'm spending a lot of time right now just getting everything set up, but there's a lot of front end time to get things set up. And that should, if I've done my job right with the setup, pay off on the back end, make it a much smoother process of labeling and bottling everything. Should, I say, because it doesn't always work out that way. Let's see here. Not bad. Not bad for the first bottle. Not quite. It's a little bit low. I wish I could. Yeah, that's probably going to be fine. I'll probably be okay with that. I think I'll be okay with that. There's one more adjustment I need to make, and that's with the height of the bar. So what I want to be able to do is just put it on there at the height that it belongs. All right, that's a little bit off center. Go a little bit lower. And there we go. Perfect. All right. I think I'm okay with this. Now, I do have a laser guide that I can set on here and tell me where to put the label. And since this is the first time using this machine in this orientation, I am going to set up my laser guide so that I can do just that. Except it's broken. Great. Terrific. Who the fuck sets this thing up like that? All right. Unless I can find the other one that I've never actually used. All right. Time to get this party going. Time to get it going. I do like the sound of the rain outside. The rain, for those of you who don't know, we get our water here at the facility from captured rainwater. We have a cistern, big giant water tanks out back. Big giant water tanks that collect up the rainwater. That is where we get our water from. We do not use groundwater. We do not use municipal water. We use rain delivered by the good Lord above. Square tables in the house. Cheers, my man. Let's think about my phone over here next to the label machine, so that I can actually see chat as it comes in. Let's see here. I need to turn the camera a little bit. Make it square. There we go. Boop, boop. Beautiful. All right. I don't need this. This is probably the slowest process of the whole operation, except maybe the part where I seal the bottles. But for this set of labels, for this orientation of labels, for this setup, it's probably the slowest part of the operation, just because they're clear labels. I've never done it quite this way before. It goes much quicker when they're vertical instead of horizontal. But damn, that is beautiful, isn't it? the blue contrasted with the brown in the background. It'll go a little bit faster as I progress and get better at it. And just about at the end of the line, when I'm proficient and an expert, I'll be done. And then I'll be getting new labels. What was that? There we go. So one of the hallmarks of handmade, hand production, hand crafting is little variations between the bottles. So some of these are going to be a little off center. But isn't that the case really with all of us? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Isn't that really the case with all of us? Speaking of which, this one's off center. And one of these bottles is going to one lucky winner of the golden ticket drawing, which will happen Thursday night. So that's pretty exciting. Uh-oh. A little bit of a kink in the label here. There we go. So sometimes the label doesn't go on perfectly straight. But worse is when it crumples a little bit like that, and then you just got to kind of smooth it, pull it out from the edges to stretch it out. Looks like the video froze. That's what was going on that I saw. We had a little video hiccup. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We have a technical difficulty. I can fix that. I can fix that. Do that. Come down here to pick and pick. This is me. In the shitty, shitty weather. That's not the camera. That's the one. Ta-da! That's awful. Down, down, down. There we go. Let's fit it to the screen, shall we? Perfect. Ooh, do, 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 do. And finally, nope, not that. Finally, we add our camera here. Problem solved. Diddly. Fit it to the screen. Diddly. Diddly, 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 diddly. What is that? Okay, cool. So you can tell by the pace that we're going. So I've been streaming now for almost 30 minutes, give or take. I've gotten a dozen bottles, so I need to pick up the damn pace if I plan on getting this done by the end of the week. I need to pick up the pace. Wish I had some kind of background music or something. But I can't play the radio because YouTube will take me down. And then I'll get a phone call from CSAC. And they'll be all like, you were using licensed music. And then I'll have to explain to them that I wasn't using their licensed music and they can go suck an egg. CSAC is some of the worst damn vultures. I swear to God. Oh, yeah, nice business you got there. Sure would hate for something to happen to it. Extortionists is what they are. Then they send their dickhead secret shoppers who may or may not come and buy something. Then they send their little text and they leave under some dumb excuse. What is going on there? Why does it keep flashing out like that? Everything good? Everything good. It's also important to note that these bottles aren't quite done yet. There's one other important touch that I'm adding to them before they go out the door. But you'll see that maybe later today, possibly tomorrow. Every single one of these bottles is going to be numbered. Going to get like an ink pen, not an ink pen, a paint pen. Put the batch number. Barrel size. I'm not going to go dumb Budweiser and born on date or anything like that, because that's stupid. Because honest to God, whiskey can sit there. I don't know what day it was born just by looking at the batch number and which store it's in. Okay, that flashing is beginning to get on my nerves. I don't know why it's doing that, but it needs to stop. Let me see if there's a setting on the phone, on the camera, that's doing something. okay. Plugged in. Good. Still good there. Let me sit down over here and look and see what's going on. See if I can see what's going on here. All right, now I think we're okay. All right, I hope we're okay. Find out. My apologies for the absolutely terrible technical connections. I'm a whiskey man with a YouTube channel, not a YouTube guy with a whiskey distillery. So sometimes things are not perfect. But the whiskey is on point. So I tell my kids, I may not be the perfect father, but my whiskey's on point. That's not true. I don't tell them that. I don't talk to my kids. I have a little production problem with this one here. Quality control. So this one had a ripped seal on it. It had overheated and burned. So I'm just replacing that seal real quick. Don't mind me. Doing a little off-camera work. Don't mind me. Top shelf in the house. Cheers, Dustin. You're a product of your mother and I. Whiskey is mine and mine alone. I am so going to tell them that when I get home tonight. Of course, I always tell my wife, like, I couldn't do this, the distillery, without her. Because, you know, she holds the fort down at home when I'm off doing, you know, gallivanting across Texas, selling to all corners. Ah, shit, this is off center. Well, sometimes they're off center. Gives it charm. That's what I say. It gives it charm. Let's see here. If I do the picture in picture. Oops. If I set it up with the PIP, pick and pick, can I, like, put this on somehow put it on a pedestal, like literally on a pedestal? Let's see here. Set it like right here. A barrel or something I could stick here. Block of some sort. I've got all kinds of stuff in this distillery, but it's like I'm looking for the one that I want to use if I want to do this. I think I could do it with this barrel right here. Nope, not that one. Not that one. What should I do? How could I do this? How could I do this? So that video, yeah. No, I didn't do that. Oh well, screw it. I could, I just don't want to. I could, I just don't wanna. And I need to quit screwing around and get this thing done. Up my production level, because I've got 22 cases and I can't spend an hour doing a case. Pick up the pace, pick up the pace, whiskey man. We're all out here and we's thirsty. And if you don't get us some of that sweet, sweet bourbon, we is gonna riot. We is gonna riot. Whiskey Riot is a YouTube channel, isn't it? One of my favorite shots is when these are all lined up and just like everybody's lined up, dressed up, ready for the ball. In formation. I don't know if y'all can hear the rain, but it sounds amazing. I love listening to the rainfall. It's like white noise just sprinkling down on my head. I got a little bitty bubble right here. A little bit, you'll see that? Right there, a little bitty bubble. The way to fix that is kind of spread it out and smooth it down at the same time. And then slide it across the table and smash it into all the other bottles. Yeehaw! Oh, you hear it there at your house? But see, to me, also, that sounds like our aquifers refilling. It sounds like my rain tanks refilling with fresh water. That sounds like more whiskey, is what it sounds like. And it is glorious. Move it over here. It is a glorious sound. I'm going to move you closer. I'm not going to move closer to the camera. I'm going to move the camera closer to me. Over there. Ow. My knees are sore from walking on the concrete all day yesterday. And being 47. Whiskey man, you're not as young as you used to be. You need to quit acting like a 27-year-old. Well, first off, you don't know how old I am. You don't know how old I used to be. So you can't say for sure that I'm not as old as I used to be. I may still be that old. I'm taking off my hoodie. Even though it is cold here, it's not cold enough to require that anymore. Put my headset back on. Oh, such beautiful, beautiful whiskey. Got 3 cases done. I'm speeding up. I'm getting faster. I'm getting a little bit more consistent. Figuring out where the bottle's supposed to lay on the machine. Where the label's supposed to come out to. See? Beautiful. More consistent every time. Like I said, by the end of the 20th or so case, I will be an expert and we will be finished. Which is a lesson against term limits, kids. Just once, Anthony. Just once, I'm not as old as I once was. I'm as good as I've ever been. Oh, Dave. Ain't as good as I once was. But once, I'm as good as I ever was. Do, 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 do. Line 'em up. Line 'em up. I'm as good once as I ever was. Now, the technique for these labels is different from the technique for my other labels. Because my other labels, if I press down too hard, they'll bind up. They'll get crooked. They get crooked. They'll bind up. I'll get a little crease down the middle. But with these, the harder I push, the actual smoother they go on, and the fewer chance of gaps and air bubbles on the face. And because the label is long ways wider, there's much less a chance for it to get crooked on the spindle. And it stays straighter longer. And I'm actually getting much more consistent as we go along. The paper that it's on, though, is this clear cellophane stuff. It's thick, not like, Reynolds wrap, but it's still lighter than paper. So it's getting wrapped up inside the mechanisms. I got to keep pulling it loose to make sure it feeds out. I say that and immediately get a crinkle and a bubble. On the front label, which is the worst place to get a crinkle and a bubble. Dustin, you might be right. I mean, most of the whiskey making is like waiting around and not really doing anything. The packaging and all the other stuff, that is definitely the most time-consuming process outside of personal appearances and sales events and stuff like that. Because try as I might, there's no way to make it to Dallas quick. It's a day-long event. even if I fly, you know. Shit. I mean, it would be nice to have an operation large enough to justify the bottling, a whole like line, labels and bottling, a bottling line, you know. It would be nice. And we will get there. We move into our full-scale facility. I mean, this is a full-scale facility. When I talk about my full-scale facility, I'm talking about my, you know, 10-acre dream spread that has the 50,000 square foot facility and the separate rick house and the separate tasting room and, you know, all the stuff, the accoutrements. 3, 4, 5 separate stills that can run every single day. The fermenters. For each day of the week. You know, if you're packing a fermenter every day, and your fermenters run 7 to 10 days, then you need like, what is that, 40, 50 fermenters? That's not right. Yeah, I mean, you need a shit ton of fermenters. I mean, I don't think I'll ever have like a shit ton of fermenters. But you run them every day for a week, then they're filled for a week. So, you know, 14 fermenters. Let's call it 10 fermenters. There we go. And see, the big industrial lines, they just drop all this stuff into a vat, and then it goes through the pipes and into the system and into the bottles, and the machines do the corking and sealing and all that stuff. And it just gets fed, everything gets fed into one end, and out the other end come boxes of whiskey. Hell, I have to build my own boxes. And you know, if anybody ever asks you, Why is craft whiskey so expensive? Well, it's because we have to do everything by hand because we don't have any automated systems. I mean, for real, in the time it's taken me to do this, what, 2 hours? Time is 11:29, 1 full hour. 1 full hour. I've done 5 cases. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Labeled 5 cases. 1 full hour from 10:30 to 11:30. And granted, some of it was setting up the equipment, so I haven't been doing it for a full hour. Let's say 45 minutes. So let's give it another 15 minutes, see if I can get 2 more cases done. Might be able to get 2 cases done in 15 minutes. And see, I'm also doing quality checks on the labels and the bottles themselves to make sure that the whiskey in the bottles are clean. Because like I said yesterday, you know, these bottles are sitting on a pallet. They sit on the pallet at the warehouse for God knows how long before they come to me. Then they sit here for God knows how long until I can actually get to using the bottles. You know, some of my bottles will sit here in my facility for, oh shoot, that's bad. Some of these bottles will sit here in my facility for a year. Okay, that was just a fluke. Good. Which is also why I don't put a... Anyway, so, you know, anything can happen in the bottles, to the bottles. You have a spider in the damn bottle. Silverfish is the biggest thing. This is a much cleaner facility than our other facility was. Our other facility had a air conditioning company and a gymnasium, a gym, coach, fitness center next door. They had their protein shakes and all that stuff. But next door was a full-on abandoned house, falling down. Hundreds of rats and mice living in that damn place. And they would come and visit frequently. It was gross. I never actually saw the varmints myself, but I saw evidence of their existence, and that was quite enough for me, thank you very much. Thank you very much. And having corn and malted barley and rye for any amount of time would bring those sons of bitches around. No, thank you. It's weird enough being in a facility in the middle of town in the middle of the night all by yourself. You know, minding your own business, doing work, watching Breaking Bad. Then you turn around and hear little footsteps scuttling across the floor. And you don't see them. You don't see them, but you hear them. Little monsters. Let's see here. So anyway, that's a little off-putting. My dog didn't like it. Not one bit. But he didn't know what the hell they were either, because he ain't never seen anything like that. He didn't know what to do about it. He's a dog, for crying out loud. He's just like curious, but he's ultimately not going to do anything. But yeah, the clear labels give me a chance to, because I can not only inspect the label, but also inspect the bottle, inspect the whiskey on the inside. I can do this whole inspection process all at once. And I'll do it again when I'm putting the bottles in the boxes. I'll check every 5th or 6th bottle, probably. Actually pull it out and hold it up to the light and take a good hard look at what's on the inside. Make sure not only that the bottle is not cracked or anything, but that there's no silverfish or dust floating in it. Just that it's whiskey and glass, and that's it. It's less of an issue when you're going off the top of the stack. Like I was saying yesterday, once you get to the bottom of the stack, get to the bottom of the stack, that's when you're close to the ground. And our labels stay, our bottles stay covered when they're on the pallets. We keep them covered, we keep them wrapped, which also helps. Keeps the dust out of them, critters out of them. Oops. The labels being off center are okay. Not ideal, but okay. Bottles having silverfish floating in it are not okay. Or a full-on wolf spider. Uncool. Uncool, wolf spider. We're about to come to the end of the line of our classic labels. See that? That's the cardboard roll. Coming to the end of the road for this roll of labels, rather. Oh, shoot. Sometimes it's just so off-center that I can't accept it. And it just has to get redone. Badly, but redone all the same. And I'm more tolerant of the back label being really off-center than the front label being off-center. But there's only so much you can do. And that's it. I have more labels. I just have to get the roll. Load them up. But yeah, in that extra 15 minutes, 12 minutes, I now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus 2 bottles. So, in the time it takes Maker's Mark or Brown Foreman or any of those other guys to make let's see here, about 1,000 a minute. So in the time it takes them to do 15,000, I was able to do 24. That, my friends, is how the machine works. You know, they pump them out so fast that it's practically free for each unit. You know, they spend millions of dollars on the equipment. I mean, no question about that. They spend probably billions of dollars on the equipment, to be honest. The level of investment that goes into those machines is outrageous. From the facility to the machines to the people. Hell, even the whiskey. You know? It is remarkable. Without question. Absolutely remarkable. Marvel of modern engineering, some could say. And if they haven't, they should, because that's what it is. That whole industry is a marvel of modern engineering. They can sell you all the handcrafted bullshit they want, but it is a marvel of modern engineering. I'd be lying if I didn't say I wasn't a little bit jealous. It'd be nice to have unlimited funding and be able to literally do whatever I want, whenever I want to do it. Just, be all like, yeah, we'll just expand. Here's a $10 million expansion to our operation. Just, here you go. Because, it may sound like a lot of money to, like, normal people, but a $10 million expansion for a $1 billion corporation is nothing. $10 million out of $1 billion, that's, what is that, knock off 3 zeros? 2 zeros. So that would be like a person making $40,000 spending 40? Knock off 2 zeros from $40,000, you go $4,400. It's like spending $400. It's not nothing. You're not just going to go out and drop $400 for fun, but you go out and buy a TV that costs that much without even thinking about it. They spend a couple of weeks researching what TV you want. You go out and buy a sofa, $2,500. You're like, wow, $10 million expansion. That's a sofa. For normal people. For you and me, that's a sofa. Now I went to what's it called? One of those marketing survey things. They take public opinion survey thing. They take the public opinion and some company that was talking about safety features and adding safety features to their docks and blah blah blah, seeing how it would be taken in by the public if they did A, B, C, D, whatever. They were like, what if we did this? What if we did this? And they're like, but what about the cost and blah blah blah. I'm like, y'all are a $97 billion corporation, and you're talking about the cost of $112 million? That's like us going to like everybody at this table, for every single one of us, that's the equivalent of us going to like Chili's for dinner. Don't sit here. Industry leader in safety, blah blah blah, fine. But don't sit here and say we're doing everything we can. You're not doing everything you can. You're not even doing everything you should. You're doing everything you are obligated. You are doing the bare minimum of what you are obligated to do. And you are doing everything you can to avoid doing that. Does that make you the good guy? No. That makes you a typical corporation. You could do literally whatever you want with your $97 billion revenue, or however much their revenue is. But instead of doing that, instead of turning it back to your employees, employee safety, your facilities, your customer safety, you are, you know, doing what every company in America does, returning the revenue to the shareholders. They didn't like that. They didn't like me telling them that. I mean, they took all the opinions and they smiled, but they didn't like me being that vocal about that. That's cool. I wasn't there for them to tell me what a good boy I was. They wanted an honest opinion and they got one. And I wasn't the only one. There were plenty of folks who would defend industry standards as something other than the bare minimum. That's true. That's not always the bare minimum, but it's pretty much the bare minimum. You approach the industry standard, do everything you can to meet the industry standard. I got a text from my lovely. Oh, shit. Oh. She's in a shelter. She sends me a text that says, we're currently in a shelter in place. Bob, I slept in this morning. I didn't get started until 10 o'clock, 10:30. Because I slept in late this morning and then I went home and cleaned up. I got a good night's sleep last night. A very good night's sleep. A better night's sleep than I expected to get, honestly. I went home and had some breakfast, got some work done. I need to talk to my new label maker about the new set of labels that we're going to be getting for our Boomtown Bourbon, which I hope will be coming in March. I heard a weird noise. Welcome to the party, Bob. Thanks for joining us. Glad to have you here. Bob was with us last night, almost all the way up to the end. And we'll be back on again tonight. Same StreamYard format. Well, not StreamYard. Restream format. But I'm going to have guests. I'll have Slade Ham joining me. I am going to have Emma Dilemma joining me in studio. Make sure I can get all my tech stuff set up proper for Miss Dilemma to join us. She works at 8, so she'll be coming in relatively early, I expect. I don't know where she works at. Hearing crinkles. What's going on in here? That's what's going on. Okay, I need to move that out of the way. This is what's happening. Okay. Yep, this is exactly what I mean by doing the labels by hand. Well, this is the machine-assisted labeling. Doing the labels by hand is actually taking them off by hand, putting them on the bottle by hand. And that's how we did it. I wasn't sure if this machine would work with these labels here, because I've never used these labels on this machine. And honestly, it'd probably be quicker just to take them off and put them on by hand. But it's a better we're getting a better, more consistent label on the bottle doing it this way. So even though this is probably slower than using my grubby little fingers to just slap it on the bottle, I'm getting a nice, consistent, smooth application the way I ought to get. Because I could just sit here with the reel or with the roll, just peel it off and slap it on, peel it off, slap. It would probably go quicker. But I'm just about halfway done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. About a third of the way done. 8 out of 22. So I should have this knocked out by lunchtime if I just take a late lunch. So shouldn't be much of a problem. Yeah, it does. It actually works. It works better than I expected it to. And I think it probably even works better than, it works better in this orientation than our other labels that go on. They go on like this, and I just roll it through. But it's still kind of a slow process. In a perfect world, though, I would have a conveyor belt that just whipped it around the table, and there'd be a label machine that go foot, 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 foot. And that's it. If it were a perfect world. But those machines are not inexpensive. And I gotta do a bunch of those bottles. Basically have that machine running daily, pumping out. Uh-oh. See, I got a little bit of a wrinkle on this one here. And the way you fix that, just pull it up, smooth it back down. Easy peasy. So my wife's a teacher, and she sends, we have a shelter in place text message with a graphic. And I don't see the graphic, I just see shelter in place. And when an elementary school teacher sends you shelter in place message, the first thing you think is, oh shit. But it's because of the weather. We have a storm system blowing through right now. Plenty of money shots in this video. Plenty of them. There's a wrinkle on this one, all the way up and down it. See if I can find a spot to pull it out. There we go. That'll do. Like I said before, I'm more satisfied. I'm more okay with the back label being a little bit imperfect than I am the front label being imperfect. Because if the front label is imperfect, it's sitting on the shelf and it looks like an imperfect label. If it's on the back label, you might not ever see it. You may never actually see the back label. Another thing I need to worry about with the rain is humidity causing problems with the labels sticking to the bottles. If the bottles start to sweat a little bit, the labels may not stick. So this is what I mean by doing it by hand, Bob. Actually doing it. And that was that's how we did the first several hundred bottles. We didn't have this machine. We would have 2 or 3 rolls of labels, 2 or 3 people, a table full of bottles. Whip, slip. Whip it off, slap it on. Whip it off, slap it on. Those was the good old days. The good old days. I can look back and say, I remember when. I remember when. I remember when I lost my mind. But like I was saying before, there's one more final touch on this, and I might get to it tonight. I might get to it tomorrow. I'll probably get to it tomorrow. But I sit down with a paint pen, blue, probably, and I mark each one of these bottles with the months aged, the barrel size, the batch number. And this will be 2023-01-4. The first release of 2023 from the 4th batch of bourbon. I'm going to start the numbering process. I'm going to start my batch description methodology that way. So I have the year, because we got probably 4 releases coming from batch 4. We had the 2022 portion of batch 4 that came out in December, November, like a little mini batch that we did. A super mini barrel. Just a couple of cases, just enough to carry us through December. excuse me 1 second. Old Humble, this Joe. Hello? Telemarketer. Awesome. Ah. All right. Back to it. Video still good? Good. Flip this over. Make sure we're plugged in. Plug that in there. Good? Come on, why won't my phone stay plugged in? Oh, you know what? I will plug my phone back in later. Ah, the pitter-patter of raindrops. It's a beautiful sound. It's going to make it really hard to drive through here, because this road becomes a disaster. So I'm going to have to give people an alternate route to get here on Friday. Talk to me about my car's extended warranty. I do need to talk to my insurance company, though. There's my songbird Emma Dilemma saying she'll come closer to 4. Sweet C. She said she'll be here around 4, which means I need to be here around 4. It's 12 o'clock. Let's see here. I'm not going to get this done by lunch. She's coming by 4. Let's see here. It's all right. I got all night. I do need to get this done today, though. And me getting a late start is my own fault. But I definitely need to get this finished today. If I don't finish this today, that puts me behind tomorrow. And I'd like to have this done by Thursday at noon. But that's all right. We're about halfway finished. It's been 2 hours. About halfway finished. I can get this done by 2 o'clock. Just got to think of something to talk about between now and then. Yesterday, I was able to pontificate on the gloriousness of 9 repeating. 0.9 repeating, to be exact. and how it breaks people's brains when, you know, you talk about 0.9 repeating equaling 1. It's like the only time in math when that's a thing, when like one thing equals another thing, but they're not the same thing. But it is the same thing. But I think what I will entertain myself with today is the gloriousness of space and how big it is. Like, space is really, really big. Like, really, 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 really big. Like, think of the biggest thing. It's bigger than that. Like, it's so big that the biggest thing you can think of would fit inside of space. Like, in an infinite number of times. Space is so big, there's more nothing in space than actual stuff. Which blows my mind. Because all of that came from like an infinitely, well, probably not infinitely small, but an extremely small space. And it just went. And wrench a Japanese metal channel. What? A Japanese metal channel. Oh, wrench. Wrench. The not a like a channel, like a. I was thinking mechanical. Like I was thinking of mechanical, like you had to like turn a bolt, a nut on a screw for some kind of metal channel. I'm not quick on the uptake sometimes. Whew. I so didn't study. Oh crap. No, we're not doing math, not today. Not now at least. That was last night. That was yesterday. We're not doing math today. But no, but the bigness of space. You know, they talk about how aliens have visited, blah blah blah. Like, no, they haven't. Like, the probability. Like, I'll grant it's possible. Highly improbable. Highly improbable to the point where it's probably impossible. Highly unlikely. More unlikely than probable. Ed's in the house. Cheers, Ed. One of our golden ticket holders who has reserved his bottle for Friday afternoon or Saturday afternoon. Friday evening or Saturday afternoon. Thank you, my good man. One of the all-stars who's helped us out in a pinch on several occasions. Helped me move out of my old facility, as a matter of fact. He was one of the guys, as a matter of fact, at our old facility who was doing the labels by hand. peeling it off the reel, slapping it on the bottle, smoothing it out. He came in there one time to do volunteer work with me. And I'm pretty sure I had you in here volunteering for me once too. Pretty sure. But yeah, people ask why craft whiskey is so much more expensive than. Because we do it old school. We don't. We're not a modern marvel of engineering. We're very much cottage industry scale. Many of us, at least, are very much cottage industry scale. I'm still cottage industry scale. Ed, on these old style labels, they did them for us alternating front and back. I would prefer having a roll of fronts and a roll of backs myself. Two separate machines. We could separate it out. We could have a couple of people working at the same time. When I'm doing it solo, it doesn't make any difference, but I have explored recently the idea of doing a round bottle that I would just have one label and a more automated machine where I could just hit a button. But then I'd have to completely rebrand my packaging, rebrand my bottles. And that's just when I'm getting some steam and getting some net recognition for the bottles and style. So I'll have to wait. Now, I am officially at the halfway point, by the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 out of 22 cases. So I'm officially at the halfway point. But I'll have to wait a few years at least to effectuate that change, I think. I can't afford to redesign everything and redesign the labels. I've got to get a little bit more steam, a little bit more wind in the sails, a little bit more steam in the engines to be able to do that. It actually doesn't take more. It takes fewer, I think. I say that just as I screw up this late. This roll is not going as smoothly as the previous roll. It's not going as smoothly as the previous set was going. I think it's just because the size of the reel is so big. So big. It's having trouble auto feeding itself. So I'm having to futz with it a little bit more. It's definitely going. It feels like it's going a little bit slower. It feels like it's going a little slower, and I'm having a little bit of trouble keeping it centered on the bottle. But all in all, I'm okay with it. I am looking forward to getting these labels redesigned. Maybe the next batch will be solid blue. Maybe not. Haven't decided yet if we can get to it yet. (2023-1-4). What this batch is going to be designated. First batch of 2023, or the first bottling run, the first run of 2023 from batch 4. (271 bottles). Beautiful. Look at that. There's fewer voids and gaps, fewer voids and bubbles. I pick up one that has a void and bubble on it. There's fewer voids and bubbles than when we did it by hand, because it's going on with the roller. It has tension all the way through. It's going on with the roller. It's going on nice and smooth with the roller. So it's a nice presentation. Just takes forever. I mean, the time I'm taking to do this, Makers and Brown and those guys are doing 15,000 bottles. More bottles than I'll do in a year. Miss Kitty. Hello, Vanessa. We're over halfway finished. I'm moving on to, is it number 12 already? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, I'm on the 12th case out of 22. You didn't miss a math chat. The math chat was yesterday, Kitty. I was just talking about what we talked about yesterday, how you can't multiply by infinity. You can't multiply by an infinite number. You can multiply by an estimate of an infinite number. You can come close to the accurate multiplication. And the only way you can multiply by, 22 over 7, is by multiplying it by the fraction 22 over 7. You can't turn it into a decimal. Otherwise, you're just getting an approximation. Beauty. Come on, smooth out. You can never actually count an approximation. Just close. It's in the neighborhood. But no, I didn't do any math today. Not yet. Maybe later. You've been warned. Also, these labels, they're going on these bottles pretty remarkably easy considering they're 7 years old. I got these labels in 2015. No, May. May of 2016 is when these labels came in. Because I was bottling this stuff up the week before the week before Memorial Day, when we opened our doors to the public for the first time. This was part of my initial order of labels. And considering they're 7 years old, we ordered in 2015. They came in May of 2016. Considering they're that old, they're holding up really well. They're doing a great job. He said, as one label refused to come off of the roll. There we go. Countable sets. Oh, the fact that infinite sets of different sizes just cracks me up. What is the mash build of Boomtown Bourbon? The legendary Boomtown Bourbon is 72% corn, 19% rye, and 9% malted barley. Gives it a slightly less taste of the rye, slightly more taste of the corn. Aged in used or aged in used barrels. Aged in 5-gallon barrels, 6 to 9 months to give it the equivalent of 5 to 7 years in a full-size barrel. And all that comes together to make the legendary Boomtown Bourbon. Woo! And we only have, I thought we were going to have 180 bottles, but this batch yielded 271. A full 90 bottles more than I was expecting to get. And the reason being is because I didn't lose as much in evaporation and drippage. I thought I had lost close to 10 gallons through a busted barrel evaporation. Because I'd pick the barrels up and I'd shake them to see how full they were, see how we were doing. And they didn't feel full. But I guess I just don't know my own strength. Bottle labeling is in a nice geometry problem. Natural numbers of integers greater than 0. Check countable sets. Cauchy. It's a rather fun fact when I first encountered. Amazing, you never thought of infinite had size per se, let alone an infinite set. Hugely greater in size than the natural numbers. Oh yeah, like the countable numbers are infinite. Odd numbers are infinite. Even numbers are infinite. But even numbers, odd numbers are infinite and equal. They're not infinite and equal to countable numbers. because countable numbers would include even numbers and odd numbers. And then you throw in the decimals, the integers. Integers are infinite, but they're also infinitely larger than even numbers and odd numbers. And if you the order that you write the numbers changes the size of the infinite set as well. Because if you go with all of the countable numbers, all of the counting numbers, but instead of going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you go 1, you go odd, odd, even, odd, odd, even, odd, odd, even, you have a smaller set of numbers than if you go in order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, etc., etc., etc. Because if you go 1, odd, odd, even, 1, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, you're skipping numbers. It's a pattern, a repeating pattern, an infinitely repeating pattern. But, and you could write it out in a mathematical formula. So it's an infinitely repeating pattern that goes on and on forever, my friend. It is the set that never ends. It just goes on and on, my friends. Some people started writing it not knowing what it was, but they continued writing it forever just because it is the song that, or the set that never ends. You're welcome for having that song stuck in your head for the rest of the day. Mustache curl, because I am an evil villain. You want to buy some of my used barrels? You can buy some of my used barrels. I have some barrels that cannot be used for anything other than crafts going forward because they are a little bit cracked. And I have some barrels that are probably going to be set aside for some home brewers and home stewers. And that is fine as well. You can choose which one you want. They started singing it not knowing what it was. But they continued writing it forever just because. Whoops. This one has a void in the middle. Why did you have a void? They continued singing it forever just because. Alright, when I get to here, when I have these stacked up to here, I'm not going to be able to go any further, so I'm just going to have to start putting them back that way. Well, that's fine though. Because I've got, that's 12, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 cases done. It looks like I'll have room for 2 or 3 more cases. Fun story. In the early days, I was doing this. Somebody was helping me out in the distillery, and they didn't know the rule that I had of stacking everything in columns of 12. They had stacked their columns in columns of 10, and I needed to have 10 cases done. And we got to the end of the 10th row, and I looked over at the tail. I'm like, we're done. That's 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're done. We're done for the night. Let's go home. He's like, that's not 10 cases. We still got 2 more cases to go. That's only I'm like, what? How's that? And I looked over there and I counted. I'm like, oh crap! And we'd had several problems with the machinery. This was early in the days of doing this. Early in the days of doing this. So we were having problems with the machinery, figuring out how to get stuff done right. So we had been there like all day. We were hungry and we were tired. And it was only 10 cases, and we still had 2 more to go. And it was only like 30 minutes of work to finish it up, but I was so pissed. I was like, no! Man, I thought we were done. You know that feeling like when you think you're done, and then you find another stack of stuff that needs to be collated or filed or sorted or whatever, and you're no, that last load of laundry that you thought you'd finished, and then you look and there's like a whole basket tucked behind the door, and you're just like, no. Yeah, it was like that. I was demoralized and just spent. It was in the summertime, so it was like 100 degrees inside the facility. We were baking and broiling, and ugh. In a word, it sucked. Boomtown. In a word, it sucked. Equal to the size of an infinite subset of the natural size. Energy is equal in size to the set of natural numbers. Here's one. The rational numbers are equal in size to the natural numbers as well. You want to use the broken... Oh, that'd be a great idea. Yeah, the broken barrels are great. Great for the smokers. In fact, I'm going to take some of my old barrels and cut them up and use it for smoking wood. I just need to do it. I don't really have a saw that I can cut them with. I guess I have my miter saw that would work. Ooh, I just got hungry all of a sudden. Yeah, feeling when your stomach just pokes at you all of a sudden. Like, eh. It was weird because I didn't eat breakfast that long ago. Like I said, I slept in a little bit, cleaned up my bedroom here, and headed home to clean up and change clothes. I had breakfast around 9:30. I didn't get here till 10. But I did just have cereal. It's not like I had a big lunch or a big breakfast. It was just cereal. So I'm going to have eggs and chopped beef when I get home for lunch. But I want to get this done before I eat lunch. So maybe what I'll do, let's see here, 10 to 4 o'clock. Emma gets here at 4, around 4 o'clock, if she survives the roads and the rain. So we could chat with Emma for 30, 45 minutes. Then I can shut down the stream, go home, eat, come back, and we can fire up the late night party time. I'll fire it up at 6 o'clock. Slade comes in around 7 remotely because of the weather. The weather kind of sucks. It'll be fun to catch up with Slade. I haven't talked to him in a while. I've seen he has his own show, the Whiskey Brothers podcast. He's a stage comedian, touring comedian. He does comedy shows, produces the shows. I mean, he does a lot. They're working on expanding their YouTube presence and growing their channel out. Using that multimedia platform that honestly he should have learned how to use better during the pandemic. I think they've monetized their Twitch channel and they're working on the YouTube side now. Use a circular saw. Well, yeah, I mean, I could do that. Size of the irrational numbers set versus the size of the rational numbers. I thank Cauchy for that fact. Math tests to help guide the teacher and student on the student's comprehension of the facts that they're learning. The universe is a sea of math, us included. True. Accent splitting worse than the burn section of the smoker. We have sucks in chat. Lurkers, please say hi if you can. Say hi if you can. That's great. Just make sure your volume's up enough that your watch hours count. I've got a miter saw, a miter saw that I can just chop. So I take it in there and just chop it down. Chop saw, I guess, is what it would be called in that particular case. That's not what it is, though. That's how I'd be using it. I have a bandsaw that is too. It's just not. It's too small. It doesn't work well, and its motor burned out. It's a piece of shit Ryobi. A piece of shit Ryobi. There we go. So yeah, I mean, circular saw is gonna the boards are gonna be too small for the circular saw. I like my fingers. I'm very fond of them. We've had a lot of good times together. We go way back. I've known him most of my life. Just a little bit too far off center, and I can do something about it, so I will. The trick is be quick, so I don't get any creases. But my fingerprints still get on it, on the tapey side. That's all right, though. Be better. Be better. So I just need to get around to doing it. I've thought about it, talked about it, discussed it for years. I've just never done it. If I bought bottles of your liquor, is there a transportation on how many bottles I can bring back home here? There's only a limit on how many you can personally purchase. 2 per person per month. I don't know what. I mean, if you're flying home or driving home, there's no like. I mean, nobody's gonna stop you. You're not like going across the border with Mexico and they're gonna check and see how much tequila you have in the trunk. Nobody cares. Um, I can only sell 2 per person per month. So if you're buying more than 2, I need to know the other people involved in the transaction. That's all. That's all. You know, because I've had people come in there like a group of 4, and they buy 8 bottles, and one person pays for them all. I just need to confirm that it's 4 different people buying the whiskey: husband, wife, brother. They have to be over 21. I can't sell it to you and your children unless your children are over 21, obviously. And people started singing it, not knowing what it was. They continued singing it forever just because. If I don't play, I don't know if you listen to it without volume, if the watch hours don't count. I don't know. I've heard it does, but I don't know. Uh, I don't know. Whoops. A little nooge. A little nooge. That's better. Much better. Uh-oh, rain just stopped all of a sudden. Like it's in the middle of the eye of the storm or something. It just stopped. It's been raining consistently for 2 hours, and it's just like, nah, we're good. Enough of that. Cutting the barrel bands, lifting out the staves, and split some of the staves. Actually, gonna buy 2 of each kind. If you have 3 people, 4 people, and we have it in stock, absolutely. But right now, the only thing you can buy is our Boomtown Bourbon because that's all we have in stock. Saw a barrel in half to use as planters, my raised bed garden. That is also something that I've been tinkering around with. But to do that, what you need to do though, before you saw it in half, is you need to screw the metal bands onto the staves so that the staves don't fall out when you cut it in half. Several of my barrels are drying out now. My old ones, the 50-gallon ones I'm using for decoration, they're drying out, so the metal bands are falling off the barrels. And I've gone through and screwed them on. It's just sheet metal screws, nothing extensive. 6 sheet metal or 3 sheet metal screws in each band. 1 in the back, 2 on either side. That's enough to hold it in there. The rest of the staves aren't going anywhere. As long as that band is there, they're not going anywhere. So, but you need to do that before you cut it in half, because otherwise the staves are just going to crumble out and fall down to the ground. Okay, 1 more, and I should be good on this table, and I have to start just pushing everything back that way. Boomtown. Garner a supply of your various types to bring back home. Yeah, okay. So add 2 bands at the middle or a C-channel top band after cutting. I mean, you could, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 sheet metal screws through the band and into the wood would hold it right where it needs to be. That's all it takes. For real. You could complicate it and, add C channels and all the other stuff. You don't have to, though. I fixed my problem with it being a little bit off center. just have other problems I need to solve on a fairly regular basis with this roll of labels being a pain in the butt. I'm hoping we bring home some hardware from the Texas Whiskey Festival this year. That's in April. I'm hoping the debut of our delicious Boomtown Bourbon at the Texas Whiskey Fest and the competition at the Texas Whiskey Fest brings us home some hardware. It'll be the first competition I enter my Boomtown into, because I've never had enough supply to be able to actually enter it into any competitions. We've either sold out before I could send it in, or well, yeah, that's always been the case. We sold out before I could send it in. Yes, the Texas Whiskey Festival is open to the public. It's April, I believe, 23rd. It is just outside of Austin in Bee Cave, Texas, on the south, I think, west side of Austin. It's at a cute little ranch that is a movie set, or has been used as a movie set. Some kind of Star Ranch, I think is what it's called. Charming little place. But yes, it's open to the public. It's not cheap, but it is open to the public. If it stops, I think it stopped raining enough. I'm going to open the door and get a little circulation going in here real quick. 1 second. It is a gloomy, dreary day outside. Perfect for smoking cigars and drinking whiskey under a canopy. But then again, most days are perfect for smoking cigars and drinking whiskey under a canopy. You can fly, space available, flight to Fort Worth, and pilots would enjoy a gift. But yeah, the Whiskey Festival, I mean, if you're coming into Fort Worth, the Whiskey Festival is about 3.5 hours south on I-35. 4 hours. It is as close as Humble and Houston. It's just in the other direction. Probably closer than Humble and Houston. I think Fort Worth and Austin are probably only 3 hours. I mean, Humble to Fort Worth is closer to 4.5. I'm getting a blister on my thumb from smoothing these things out. Maybe get a blister on your little finger. Maybe get a blister on your thumb. We gotta take those microwave ovens. Custom kitchen delivery. We got to move these refrigerators. We got to move these color TVs. I should have learned to play the guitar. I should have learned to play them drums. Look at that. Looking at the camera, man. That's the way you do it. All right. We are down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5 cases. That means we are 2/3 of the way. Right about 2/3 of the way. Almost 3/4 of the way. 6 out of 22, 7 out of 21. We're doing great. Doing great. Look at that, mama. That's the way you do it. Money for nothing and your chicks for free. Thank you, Vanessa. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoy watching the inner workings of my distillery. It is, look at that. I am. I'm getting a damn blister on my thumb. Look at that. Right there. Getting a blister. But hazards of the job. I guess I'll just have to apply for workers' comp. Shift this over to the other side. There we go. All right. We good? We good. Gotta double check and make sure we still have video every time I touch the camera. Make sure it didn't screw itself up. Or I screw it up. Boomtown. All right, this will be the last case on this table. Then I'll start shoving everything back on the other table. And the only reason I can't fit it all on this table is because I have a camera on this table and a labeling machine. And a few odds and ends over there on the other end of the table. Otherwise, it would all fit on this table because these two tables are identical in every way that matters. Oh, Justin's in the house. Young Insolent. Old Humble's Young Insolent Boo Rye. A blend of rye and bourbon. I see what you've done there. No. Now, we've got two special releases coming this year. We have our 72-hour blackout bourbon, double entendre intended, commemorating the 3rd anniversary of the 72-hour blackout caused by corruption in the Texas government. And our Gangsta Mac label, which will be talked about tomorrow, I believe, with the creator of the graphic of Gangsta Mac. Tomorrow's going to be a fun day. Tomorrow's going to be a fun day. It's going to be the end of a lot of work, the tail end of a very long work week. Short work week, but a lot of hours. And then Thursday, I'll be boxing this stuff up. Well, I don't know if how much of it I'm gonna box up, because it doesn't have to be boxed up until after the release party, which isn't really a party, just a release day. But I might have a band come out well, a performer come out. One half of the Holscher brothers. I need to reach out and contact him when I'm not streaming sometime in the next couple of days. See if I can get him hooked up for Saturday at a reasonable price. Because we are going to have a crowd, and it would be nice to have a crowd for my performers for a change. We have one ticket that was sold on Eventbrite. It was the free ticket, just telling us that they're going to be here. So I don't have to reserve any bottles for those folks, but we had about a third of our inventory spoken for, but then I realized we have a whole nother 50% more than I thought we were going to have. I was fully expecting 180 bottles, but now I've got 270. I'm overjoyed. I'm super duper excited to have this many bottles. I'll be able to push stuff off to the distributor. I hope. Maybe. I'd be even happier if I could tell the distributor, nah, people beat down our door and bought all of our bourbon. There was a line around the corner and down through those potholes. Sorry, y'all just gonna have to wait. Alberta Costco. What? Did he just say Alberta Costco? Yep. Well, rye was the first liquor Vanessa Kitty ever had. Tequila was the second. I think well, I don't know what the first liquor was probably Jack Daniels or Crown Royal. The first alcohol I ever had was beer, wine coolers, and wine. Not necessarily in that order, but my mom drank wine coolers and Coors Light. Still drinks Coors Light, doesn't drink wine coolers anymore. Now she drinks whiskey like a grown-up. Because her favorite son makes the stuff. We got money for nothing, the chicks free. Tell me it would be a fun special release down the road when I have capacity. You're right, it would be. MTV was playing the 80s. They played music? I didn't know MTV was playing music. I didn't think they did that anymore. I thought they were just pure entertainment now. Scripted and unscripted entertainment. I don't like the idea of 80s music being classic either. But, you know, the 90s, the stuff they play on the 90s radio stations here around town, that is to us now in 2023 what the oldies station playing the 1960s, the hits from the 60s, was to us when we were kids. I mean, how about that, huh? We're listening to Counting Crows the same way we're listening to Counting Crows today, the same way we listened to the Beatles when we were kids. On the oldies station. Well, they don't call them the oldies station anymore. It's the classic rock or hits from the 90s. few years ago, I mean, basically what today even, the Simpsons are to my kids what the Flintstones were to me. How about that for a shock of cultural relevance there? As far as time from which it was created to when it's still playing. Time marches on. We don't use the term blackout. We call it time travel. See, that's the whole point. The double entendre is there on purpose. The 72-hour blackout. There was a 72-hour blackout caused by incompetence and corruption. But also, you know, if you want to tie one on, this is the bourbon for you. It's going to have a cool label, black label, silver, shiny silver, what they call, not embossed, varnished silver. It's going to look really cool. I might do varnished black lettering on a black label, so it'll be fully blacked out. Maybe. I don't know if the feds would like that, though. I don't think they'd allow it. But I'll only sell it at the distillery anyway, so not that big of a deal. Get a unique UPC code for it. Separate stock than our normal Boomtown Bourbon. The rain has returned. I may have to close my door again. First, Beatles were new when you were a kid. That's because you people are old. I mean, I know I was born in the 70s, but I mean, you know, you kind of, I mean, I was a wee little lad in the 80s, right? I still consider the 90s when I grew up, because that was high school and college, first job, graduate, you know, all that stuff. First real job, college graduation, high school graduation, first real job. I consider the 90s when I grew up. I was an 80s kid, but I grew up in the 90s. You make that transition from childhood to grown up pidness. In that one period. I was lucky enough to do it inside of one single decade, so that's kind of cool. And I seem to have grown up in between, you know, all the major, like, historical milestones seem to happen in between life stages. You know, the 1980s were a thing, then the Cold War ended, or then the Cold War ended, and then I like go to college, that sort of thing. every before and after chapter in my life. You could also point to a before and after chapter. I got to close this door before the rain blows in. Every before and after chapter in my life, I can look at a before and after chapter in like music or the world stage or whatever. And it doesn't really line up perfectly, but kind of does. During my master's degree program, my fellow students called me the Ancient One. Yeah, actually, I got the same treatment when I was getting my master's degree. I was 10 years older than everybody else. Old man. Shut up, kids. You dumb kids don't know anything about anything. Get off my lawn. Ow. That's fine. My knees are getting sore. Standing around on concrete. $1:15. I should be done with this by 2. I really should. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut down the stream at 2 o'clock, grab lunch, come back here, fire it up again for Emma as my special guest. Oops. Bring my boy his new phone. Let him set up the new phone. Just had a horrible image pop into my head of me dropping a bottle. Oh my god, that would suck. That'd be horrible. Horrible. 1, 2, 3, 4 cases remain. And I did 2 cases in 15 minutes earlier today. Which is a little bit better than 1 bottle a minute. $1982 summer. What? A dairy was auctioned off. An egg farm improved dramatically. A seafood sergeant went to prison. Snippet alive vet tech in the USAF. It is pouring down rain now. Goodness gracious. Y'all can't hear this through the microphone. Oh, it's deafening. It's so loud. Uh-oh. The label refusing to come off here.
There it goes. Had to give it a little encouragement. A little nudge with my finger. Shipped off under emergency orders for Elmdorf Air Force Base. Huh. And with a gentle caress, it's done. Oh, video froze. Oh, I'll fix that. Thank you. All better. How about that, huh? Some marketing for you. I really do hope this rain goes away by Friday. Gives us a chance to dry out before the crowds come, because when the roads are wet, man, it is awful. It is absolutely awful out here. Live is back. Yes, it is. Stuck at SeaTac Airport for 24 hours. Arrived at Anchorage Airport late on October 31st. Whew. Kids are getting out of school. 3, hopefully it's not pouring down on them when they get out. I hope. Now, if I had a platform here that this could come onto, and a little motor servo here, I could just hit the button and it was zoop right here, and I'd be putting the labels on. I wouldn't even have to touch the damn thing. Huh. Might have to rig something. I don't think it would be that complicated to rig it up. Yeah, my oldest ones get home at 4 or 3, right about 3 o'clock. They're gonna have a tough time. Oh well. Seems like after a little while the machine just kind of gets tired and doesn't seem to work as well. Yeah, like with this label sticking on the front. It didn't do that at all at the beginning. It's like the third time it's done that. I don't know. I don't know. It might be glue from the labels building up. It's just, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I'm getting lazy with technique or something. I don't know. Boomtown. Boomtown. Keep putting my hand over it though. We're over here. Boomtown. Kind of saw that coming. I should have seen it coming. I kind of did. I thought to myself when I put it there, I'm like, that's going to fall off. Maybe, maybe not. Yeah, it's probably going to fall off. Ba-dum, bum, bum, Five cases almost done. Have you ever done something that just gives you so much intrinsic joy? Just accomplishing the task at hand. That wasn't sexual. Just satisfying. In every conceivable way. You know, win, lose, or fail. Just the satisfaction of a job well done. It's not perfect. You know, but it's perfect enough. You know the time and effort, the journey that brought you there. And you can sit back and look and say, wow, this is a long time coming. We're finally there. It's all coming together. You know, it's not even the end product that so much matters, it's the process to get there that makes all the difference. Have you ever done something like that? That just gives you that deep sense of satisfaction? Because I have. I think I might get a Coke. I'm getting kind of thirsty. Standing on my feet now for what, 3 hours? 3.5 hours? Almost there. All right. We're down to, it looks like, the last one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10 bottles of the legendary Boomtown Bourbon. God damn it. Hold on. And that, my friends, is that. Bum, bum. that's it for this. All right. So, this is done. I'm going to go over to my other can in just a moment. The next step is going to be a closer inspection of each bottle to make sure I didn't miss anything, or at least a couple of bottles from each case. Make sure I didn't miss any floaty bits in the whiskey. Just as an example of what I was talking about, the bottles off the bottom of the rack. I don't know if this will show up. Bottle off the bottom of the rack. You see that? You see that in there? Right around here? This goes in the trash. But every single bottle got inspected as I was doing it, so I was able to check and weed out any. It doesn't happen often. It's a rare case. But you always got to double check and make sure. And we got lights in here that help us to inspect all that stuff. 271 bottles. 269 to be exact. After the 2 rejects. Put this back where it belongs. Have you ever had a sense of accomplishment? A sense of pride? A feeling of a job well done? Well, brother, you deserve that feeling. If you haven't had it yet, it's long overdue. From me to you, job well done. Grab me a soda water here, or as my old band director would call them, sody water. I want to have a cigar, but I don't want to have it till later. Oi. I'll go take care of this one thing over here real quick. Off camera. it is a gloomy, gloomy, gloomy rainy day. It is beautiful. It is gorgeous out there. The trees are this deep, dark forest green. It's it's just beautiful. It really is. All right. So let's recap. That is 271 bottles. That's not quite the full 271. That's about 220, 240, 212. No, wouldn't be 212. 210. 1, 2, 290. Let's say 271 minus 5 would be 260. 2, 3, 4, 5. 266 minus 5 cases would be 206. There's 206 bottles right there over my left shoulder. Took me from 10, 15 or so to 145 to label them up. And that counts as a deep, deep sense of accomplishment. Y'all have no idea. You have no idea what's gone into this moment. They're not done either. We're not quite done. I've got information to write onto each one, handwritten. I need to get a couple of blue ink pens to get it on there. But these bottles were picked up on a truck in Laredo, brought back to Houston. The barrels were delivered from Dallas. The corks were sent from God knows where. I don't even know where the corks came from. The shrink wraps came from Palestine, Texas, the warehouse in Palestine. It is 3 years in the making. The release of rye, marketing company, nearly going completely and totally ass up, bankrupt. Y'all don't have any idea how. We fought through so much to get to this moment. Hard-won battle. I'd do it again in a heartbeat. I'd do it again without making the same fucking mistakes I made before. I'd have maybe skipped the rye, but we needed the rye. The rye was a vital part of our menu that I wanted to have out there. But this is the reason we have a distillery. I mean, Jesus Christ. I should have focused on this sooner. Gotten this out the door last year. But about a quarter of this is all already spoken for with reservations. So about 5 cases, 6 cases, 6 cases are spoken for out of the 22. It's about a quarter, a third almost. So these are already spoken for with reservations, and everything else is going to the distributor. So if y'all don't get here on Friday or Saturday, I'm telling you, if you don't get here on Friday or Saturday, you're not going to get one of these bottles if you don't have a reservation. If you don't have a bottle reserved, one of these bottles is going to be in the bottle that would have been yours is going to be in Specs. It's going to be in Total Wine. It's going to be in an independent. It's going to be in the source. No hyperbole whatsoever. I am super duper stoked about this. Our distributors already just banging on my door like, when can we have it? 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 I like nothing more than fucking with my distributors. They're great partners. I love them. I really do. ATX is a great distributor, great partner. I like working with these guys. They're honest. They're open. They're scrapping. They're a young Texas company just like we are. We were their first whiskey. The circumstance wasn't right the first time we came together, but now we're back. We're their whiskey again. We're their principal whiskey. Excuse me. They love me. I love them. I'm telling you, they want every fucking drop I can make of this Boomtown Bourbon. If you can't get it this weekend, you're not going to get a batch of 2023-4-1, but you can get 2023-4-2 and 4-3 and 4-4, but you're not going to get 4-1 unless you get it this weekend or have the reservation. Not even being hyperbolic about it. I mean, there's plenty of sales guys that'll be like, yeah, I've just sold it to that guy right there. He's going to get a check. You got to pay full price, or he's going to come back with it. I ain't that guy. I will absolutely, if I'm doing a tasting, if I'm at a store and I'm doing a tasting, and you come by and you have a sample, and I've only got like 3 bottles left, and you go, I'll come back and I'll get one. Well, that is all the motivation I need to sell those 3 bottles before you get back. Without question. You'd be all like, I'll be back. Like, I won't. I'm going to sell out before you come back. I am that kind of arrogant. That kind of motivated. The hell is this? This is a humidity control sheet. A little package of humidity control fabric that's in my Rocky Patel cigars. Anyway, this is a deep. This is the type of satisfaction. I shit you not. This is the type of satisfaction I felt sitting in the recovery room after my wife gave birth to a kid. I didn't even do anything. She's the one who pushed the kid out. She's the one who gave birth. I was just sitting in there. I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. This is the same kind of satisfaction. I'm sitting there like, ah, damn, I did a thing. I did this thing. This thing. I gotta feed my family. I have bottles of Boomtown on the table. I have bottles of that literally has never crossed my mind, Dustin. That's fucking hilarious. So tonight we'll celebrate. We have Emma Dilemma on the show. Hopefully Scabs the Clown. We've got Slade Ham joining us. All through Restream. Then we'll have open forum. We'll talk all fucking night. It'll be great. It'll be wonderful. I'm gonna send a message to Scabs. Ask him if he wants to come in remotely.
see what Slade. I need to double check the schedule, see what Slade has to say. He'll be at 7. Emma will be here. So Emma will be here at 4. I'm going to take a picture over my shoulder real quick of all the bourbon for Lisa Linney. Lisa, who is not in town right now. So they're $60 a piece, and if you don't reserve your bottle before Thursday, you will not get a bottle out of this batch. On Saturday, Friday, or Saturday, they will not. One way or another, they're all spoken for. One way or another, they're all spoken for as of Monday. They don't. So you reserve a bottle out of this batch, or come in and get one Friday or Saturday. Otherwise, you're going to have to wait till the next batch. You're going to get 2023-04-02 is the next available bottles. Joyous day. So I'm going to post that up on my Instagram right now. I am y'all got no idea. Y'all got no. I hope at some point, if you haven't ever felt this, you feel it, because this is elation. This deep sense of I felt this way when I crossed the 22. Actually, I felt this way when I crossed the 17-mile mark when I was running my marathon 16 years ago. Because that was when I knew I couldn't be stopped. That I felt strong enough. I had enough energy. I was physically well enough. I knew that I was going to finish the marathon. -04-01 is ready to roll. Legendary Boomtown Bourbon. I can't spell legendary. I can't spell Boomtown. Batch 2023-04-01 is ready to roll. Have fun, Dustin. I love those meetings. Reserved your bottle and don't pick one up this weekend.
January to 7 or 28. If you're off for it, thank you so much, Dustin. I really do appreciate it. I did see someone in a dark suit lurking around over here, stashing papers on the side. I have to check it out and see what it is. Um, but I mean, I should be okay. I'm sure it's not anything important. To wait for batch 2023-04-02. Batch. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. If there's any leftover, I have a friend in Florida who works for a liquor store who wants one. It's $10 to ship. I'm telling you, these people, they have a few documents laying around is fully and totally expected. Like, you know, they take their work home with them, you know, they do the stuff, whatever. They package it up, they send it back. There's like one left on a desk, one left over here, a box left over there. They forgot to pick it up, they forgot to ship it out, whatever. I get it. I understand it. It makes sense. You know, if it was like a box of documents that the former guy had, or like, you know, a couple boxes here, a couple boxes there, whatever. But yeah, and you know, the FBI gets it too. The FBI is gonna be like, yeah, there wasn't any crime. He did it, but it wasn't any crime. It's like, yeah, it's not what this is intended to prosecute. They're fine. But yeah, it's not. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good at all. Secure digital documents in at that. Close access device, and boom, you're clean. That's right. Just like that. This message will self-destruct. They were doing that. Oh, they were doing that in the 50s. This message will self-destruct. Ugh. I'm texting with Lisa Linney right now. But yielded 22. So I'm super. So I had anticipated having about 15 cases. We have we have sold or committed 6 so far. We have 3 days left on our pre-sale. 3 days left on the pre-sale. Yeah.
We have 3 days left on the pre-sale. We've sold about 6 cases. I haven't checked today's mail to see if we've gotten any additional sales. I guess I could check right now because I sent out a tweet and a post earlier. But we had, when I thought we had 15 cases, um, I thought we had 15 cases, so I thought we had sold about a third. We had sold 5 out of the 15, a fifth rather. No, 5 out of 15 is a third. Yeah, I thought we had sold a third, but now we have 22. But whatever doesn't get sold to people on the Friday and Saturday this week, the distributor, whatever doesn't get sold to people this week or reserved by people this week will be sold to the distributor, which is fucking exciting as hell. I would love if we got not just 6 but 12. We sold 12 cases. I would be over the moon. That is exactly what we need to do to hit our targets for the year. Start off strong in January. Follow up with a strong February. And by the time summer rolls around, we will have everything just gobs of shit going out the door. Y'all might be able to hear this rain in the background. Ugh, goodness. All right, guys. It's 2 o'clock. I'm going to shut it down. I'm going to take an hour, go eat some lunch, do some work, and I'll be back. All right, guys. For real. Heading out. Going to go do what I need to do. I'll be back. Emma Dilemma will be here around 4, and we will be... God, it's so loud. All right, I'll be back in a while. Cheers. Peace out. Legendary Boomtown Bourbon. Coming soon. Whoop, whoop. Close it. This has been an award-winning production.